and stuff like that, and it's celebrating evil. You know what I'm saying? It's sad to what extent that people will continue celebrating this, but it's not. It becomes greater sadder than Christians performing it. Christians performing Halloween. Now, God-o-ween. Let me explain God-o-ween. God-o-ween is about, I'm going to give scriptures throughout the October concerning fearing the Lord. And I'm going to have teachings about helping you understand how to fear the Lord. But one of the most important things, significant and essential of you having a relationship with God is the fear of the Lord, which means I call it the R and R unto God, reverence and respect. Reverence and respect God. And how much that is not going on in the church is crazy and ridiculous. How bad that the fear of God, I mean, look, it's like people, how are we going to get sinners to fear the Lord when the church is not fearing the Lord? Yes. It's a terrible situation that is happening in the church system, that the script that Paul said that men will not endure sound doctrine, but fables, teaching of fables to itchy ears, fables, and not the knowledge of the truth. That has been going on for too long. I'm going to teach the idea of the fear of the Lord in very aspects. I'm going to talk about the stories that supposed to help us realize. See, I want to help you understand the fear of the Lord. See, there's people that know the fear of the Lord, but they don't understand in detail of what's significant this is. You know what I'm saying? That I hope my message today can start off this first day. You know how you got to take care of the first, when it comes to God. But God showed me that this is very important about fearing the Lord. And of course, the scripture I always start off with, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. That, that you must understand, if wisdom is going to be God's wisdom, not men's wisdom, God's wisdom to be established inside of you, the fear of the Lord will determine how much of God's wisdom, because God has, of course, infinite wisdom, but how much you want is how much you're going to fear. It determines how you fear God, because in the fear of the Lord, and it's interesting, I love how that Yom Kippur and the God-o-ween comes together, because holy, in order to truly be holy, it comes to respect and reverence concerning the fear of the Lord. You have to, holiness is a part of the idea, as I talked about in the video, about when the high priest go in the holies of holies. You know what I'm saying? If that person sinned, and sin is found in that, high priest, drop dead. You know what I'm saying? That fear, see, that fear and that reverence and respect is the idea of what fearing the Lord is all about. And it's about, I'm going too ahead of myself, but let me talk about this topic of this message of the reality of the God-o-ween message. I want the reality of it is, let me see how I'm going to put it. Your reality of projecting God. Yes, I'm going to call it that. The reality of projecting God. Now, what are you talking about projecting God, Mac? Well, as you know about the machine called the projector. The projector is created that it's this light that shines through this camera, but whatever is going to shine through the projector concerning the film is going to reveal something. You know what I'm saying? As you know, that how they make movies, you know. I don't know if they use film projectors anymore, the way how much technology is taking over. Film projectors are, as you know, that are movies, they use for as movies, that it quickly, you know, spins to get the picture of whatever they're projecting, pretty much. And you know, it's funny. I used, when I was at school, we had the, you know, the teacher, you know, wanted to show us something. They had to set up the film projector. You know, I bet nowadays they just cut on the screen in the classroom and you watch whatever movie or whatever, you know, teaching you're supposed to watch. But this projector is going to based upon the light. That's what's important. Based upon the light that is shining through, is how much you're going to see what's within the small film. And I kind of like look at this idea of the film projector as, what if our eyes, of course, and our ears, the two important gates, spiritual gates in your body, is your eyes and your ears. That's what Jesus said, that they have ears, they have eyes that they can't see, they have ears that they can't hear, neither do they understand in their heart. Now, your heart is going to be the projector. You know what I'm saying? Your heart is going to be a projector. And now it says in Ephesians talks about the heart, that it shows these measurements, the height, the length, the depth, you know what I'm saying, the breadth, you know. It shows these measurements concerning, based upon our love towards God, our heart, it's how much we are going to see God. Now, the problem is concerning, you know, to me, concerning this church system, is but here's the thing, what's supposed to be simple. When you fear the Lord, the more you fear him, you know what I'm saying? It's not just fear the Lord. No, it's the more you fear him, the more you reverence and respect him, the more of things become revealed to you. As what you, I hope you know the scripture concerning Moses. Moses said, you know, wanted to see the face of God. But God said, I couldn't show you your face. But God said, I'll show you the behind. Look behind me. And Moses saw certain things looking behind God. But when Moses left the mountain, the glow of the glory of God covered Moses' face, that they had to, like, you know, put towels or something, because the glow and the glory of God was so bright upon him. And the thing is, here's the thing about what I'm trying to say but here's the thing about Moses. Moses spent time with God more than the children of Israel. You know what I'm saying? He spent a more intimate time with God. That in that intimate God, he developed a reverence and a respect towards God concerning that intimacy. That, you know, that probably the children of Israel may not have encountered that great intimacy that Moses did, you know. And the thing is, when Moses, you know, went about doing what he was doing, now what happened was, Moses was supposed to say, let my people go. But God, one thing about what God does in his true relationship, if you want to establish a true relationship with you, he has to test you. He has to test you. Or it says to be tried by fire. Compare God. You have to be tried. Your faith has to be tried in order for a legitimate relationship can be established concerning God. And the thing is, but you know, Moses was told to tell Pharaoh, let my people go. But Moses had a stuttering problem. He had speech problem. And the thing is, he had the speech problem, and he tried to tell tell, he said, I can't tell them, let my people go. And the thing is, I was, okay. All right. And you know, sorry, y'all. He had a speech problem, and he couldn't have the ability. Now, God will always try. One thing I learned concerning my relationship with God, God will always try the weaker parts of ourselves. He will find the weaker parts. As we know, the scripture says, in our weakness, he is made strong. And the reason why God will test your weaker parts of you, because that's where his strength is going to maximize concerning his glory. That if you fear God, you will understand that idea. You know what I'm saying? And the problem is God tries us in our weaker areas because he wants us to rely on him in his power. It's just simple. He wants us to rely on his power in our weak areas. And that's what he did for Moses. And here's the thing, but when Moses didn't, you know, at first he didn't tell Pharaoh, let my people go. Aaron told him. And when Aaron did it, that's why the rod is called Aaron's rod, because Aaron first established, you know what I'm saying, the things of God. So whoever first established things, it gets possessed the things of God. And that's why they call the rod Aaron's rod. It's supposed to be Moses' rod, but it's Aaron's rod because Aaron established, you know, let Pharaoh let my people go. I hope you know that. But the thing is, when you see, and that's what the fear of the Lord teaches us about the first establishment. You must understand the first establishment concerning the things of God to truly have a sincere understanding of God if you're going to cultivate this relationship with God. But what it does, that I want to go to what Jesus talked about in Matthew 13 about the 100-fold and the 60-fold and the 30-fold. That this ideal is talking about an area. You know what I'm saying? In the area of how much do we want to see God? How much is not only how much we perform for God, but how much do we want to see God? Do we want to see 30% of God? Do you want to see 60% of God? Or do you want to see the 100-fold of God? You know what I'm saying? But we're supposed to be working towards the 100-fold. We're supposed to be, if we're truly want to see God, or if we truly want to cultivate a closer relationship with God, we have to be about 100, aiming for 100. And the thing is, but the more you do that, the more in your heart, not in your mind, but in your heart will project God in a greater way. See, watch this. God is the God of the universe. Can you project the universe? No. No one can project the universe. But the thing is, this is his expansion. And when you understand God's expansion of his greatness, you will have a greater trust and a greater reverence and respect and understand what is called the sovereignty, that God rules everything. You know what I'm saying? That, but not in your lips, but in your heart. Your heart will see God in a greater way. And when you see God in that greater way, you will be just as Jesus Christ is ready and willing to become used by God to become a sacrifice unto heaven, because you see God in a great way that you're willing to go through anything for the sake of the will of God to perform the things of God. But if your projecting of God is 30-fold or lesser than 100, you're not going to see that. You're not going to be whole to do great things for God because of how much you learn and how much you perform and how much you develop the fear of God inside you. Is what this message is all about. So that's the message. I hope you understand the reality of to project God in all of who he is and not some of who he is. And that's the message. God be the glory, him forever and ever. In Jesus' name, amen.